So in this video, I'm going to walk through the tech request process, how it works, and how we're going to be using it. So we're going to use a fictional tech request in order to do this. So you'll notice when you go into to-dos, that's a tongue twister, that there will be several to-do lists that are titled with the campus name, a kind of very brief summary of what the request is, so whether it's projector, installations, iPad connection, and then it will have the tech request number. So when you go to thecrossing.net/tech request, this is what our page looks like. Thank you, Jordan, for designing that. And this is what people will fill out. So I'm going to go ahead and fill one out so that we can see what this will look like. So I've gone ahead and filled in the form with all the relevant information, and I'm just being silly and making up a fake one. So let's just say that the problem was that a rabid squirrel broke into the main auditorium and chewed up several HDMI cables. So now these cables need to be replaced. So if I go ahead and hit submit, basically it's going to say, success, thank you for using our tech request form. We do our best to answer requests in a timely manner. Please allow up to 24 hours for a response. And one of the reasons we added this was to make sure that people are aware that we are on this and to give us a little grace and just, we may not be getting back to you right this second, but that we will get back to you within 24 hours. And it keeps us accountable as well to make sure that we are at the very least responding to people to make them know that we are aware of what is going on at their campus. What happens next is these tech requests come through via email, and this is what that email looks like. If you notice that it says status complete, what that means is that the request has gone through and is completed. It doesn't mean that we have completed the work at this point. So it will give you all the information that they presented in that tech request, and these are coming through to me and I believe Jordan and Kyle possibly, or maybe it's just me at this point. But what I will then do is add these into Basecamp. So here we are under the to-do list. If I go ahead and click on this tech request, which is our sample tech request, if I want to edit the title, I just hit rename, and this is actually where I can add extra details as well. So what I will be doing is just copying and pasting that full request right here so that we can all access all of that information. And then I will hit Save Changes. And this is where that will show up. So as we click on it, it will show who the referrer was, their email address, what campus they're from, the area of need, all that good stuff, desired deadline, and what's been going on. So what will happen next is that I will send a follow-up email. And this is just simply an email to follow up that request, that request has been received. And again, our goal is to request or to reply to all requests outside of our multi-site team within 24 hours to let them know we are aware and working on it. So Chandler or Kyle or Jordan, if you are the one submitting a request that's something the team needs to just be aware of, I don't necessarily need to send one of you an email to tell you that you are working on it. So these will be relevant to the tech request, or sometimes this won't be relevant, and this line item won't be in there. So, but for this one, let's say that I would be sending up a follow-up request, and once I've done that, all I have to do is check it off, and we know that that has been done. At this point, what we've decided is that Kyle will be the one assigning tasks. So as these come in and get created, he will then go in, and this will include delegating who's going to troubleshoot the request, if there's any budget approval that needs to happen, if any orders need to be submitted, and who's going to be actually going out to the campus to complete work, or if we just need to follow up with someone at the campus that the products have arrived they need and that the work is completed. So Kyle will then go in and he will assign these items. So you can see that currently no one has been assigned these things. And how you assign somebody to a job is really easy. You just click under the item and assign to, and if you start to type someone's name in, this whole list will pop up, and you can just pop in who that job needs to go to. You can also set due dates or when it runs from. If it's, something that's going to take 3 days, it's going to run from this date to this date. So those we will put in as they come through. And of course, we have budget approval, submit orders, and complete requests. Budget approval, this may or may not be relevant. Some of these requests won't warrant this. In this case, we can just delete these items. And it doesn't seem very clear how you delete an item. Basically, you click on the item. So if we were to go back to the list, and if we're looking through this and realize that, you know what, there's no budget approval that needs to happen, we would just click on it, actually hit File, and put this in the trash. And there we go. Now that part of this request is gone. I also want to make you aware of how the text editor works here. So if we hit, for example, troubleshoot request, just hit edit, and you can, add in any kind of extra information that you want to. You can also use the file attachment button here. And if we needed to add any, extra information or images into what was going on, we can. You can also add links as well, which I'm assuming most of you are pretty familiar with how these kind of basic text editor formats work. So we can hit Save Changes, and that will all be in there just how we need it to be. So you can see now how that item looks. We can also add comments. So if I needed to say, anything here that squirrel, I can't spell, looks crazy, we can add that as well, or anything that might be relevant to the project. Chandler, I noticed that you had added a reminder to reset some of the bulbs on one of these, and so that's a great thing. So you can always add these comments. We can also applaud them if you want to note that you're aware of something that someone said in a comment. You can also delete comments as well, if need be. So once a request is complete, which a complete request means the work is done, the campus is happy, we are good to go. And once I see that that item is checked off, what I will be doing is collecting evaluations. And this is something that I'm currently working on. It is something that I'm hoping to have done within the next 24 hours or so. This will just be a brief evaluation so that those submitting the request and who handled it on the end of the campus will be able to do a very quick 5-question evaluation with a comment section about how we handled the request and how this process doing the tech requests via the website worked. So we can get any good feedback of things that are working, things that aren't working, and help us make any tweaks that we might need to make. I will most likely always make sure that you are being notified. So for example, if I'm assigning this to Kyle, and I can make sure this box is checked that says notify them about this assignment. That way they are aware of what is going on. And I can also put a due date on it so that it will show up on their calendar. And let's actually go back and put a due date on getting the work done here. So I'll show you where that shows up on the calendar. So complete request, let's say that this ended up getting assigned to Chandler, and it will notify him, and then there's also a due date of, I believe I put the 9th on the request. And so we hit Save Changes, and if we go to the schedule, we'll see on the 9th, yep, one to-do list from Sample Tech Request for Training video. And it will show who's assigned this item. And this is somewhere you can actually check these things off here on the calendar as well as checking them off in the to-do list. That's also where if we wanted to go to reports and see what's on someone's plate, if I were to type in Chandler, it's going to show anything that he's been assigned. And there it is, complete request, Sample Tech Request for Training video. So we know that he's aware of this. And so this is where we really want you guys and all of us to be proactive about getting in and checking and making sure that you're on top of tasks that you have been assigned, and asking questions where you need to be asking questions, and getting help where you need help. And If you saw my little text message pop up, yes, I did get really cool pumpkins at Trader Joe's. So anyway, that is how the tech requests are going to work. So if you have any questions about these, please let me know. There's going to be a lot of these coming in. I've got probably about 19 or 20 emails from y'all that have come in to get these requests in. So we'll start prioritizing them and getting them in and seeing how the system works. If there are things that you feel just aren't working or that are redundant or that we just don't need to do as far as the system goes, then we can kind of hash that out and see if any tweaks need to be made. So this is a great opportunity for us to test this system and make sure that it's the most effective means of us getting this stuff done so that we can really serve these campuses well.